Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Sally Pinto and I'm from the Yonkers Newark neighborhood naturally occurring retirement community. We launched back in January of 2020 and we're here to serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We have lots of fun programs and activities, and we also have a lot of resources for you as well. Our programs include meditation chair yoga, body mind fitness, bingo, and any other programs that you might be interested, like arts and gardening. We have our resource specialist, Alexa Smith, who can help you with finding services and activities out there for you, as well as our nurse, Barbara Simone, who can help answer your health-related questions. We're here for you, we're here for our community, and we look forward to seeing you in our programs. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alexa Smith, the resource specialist with the Yonkers Newark. I'm here to help with application assistance, referrals for home delivered meals, and transportation services will be coming soon. We also offer Zoom activities and Zoom programs. And if you have any other questions or concerns, I'm here to help. Thank you so much and enjoy the program.
Welcome. I'm Barbara Simone, registered nurse. I recently retired from Westchester County's Health Department as a public health nurse. I am now here to try to assist you with any medical or preventive care issues. Enjoy this program, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Allie, thank you, Z, and everyone else. So all this time, I've been speaking about cleaners. I've been showing you do-it-yourself cleaners using vinegar and lemon, and we did wood butter the last time, didn't we? Right? Or one of those times. Why are the substituting commercial cleaners for do-it-yourself with vinegar and lemon? Because the things that you clean with find their way into your foods, right? I've shown do-it-yourself liquid dish soap. Okay, these chemicals in Dawn. Is it tragic? Are we all dying from it? No, but it is not necessary when you have very good substitutes. So the idea was to make sure that what you create doesn't find its way into your food. And that's what made me think of, hey, we should talk about food. So let's get into, so what does sustainable food habits mean? Now, before I do this, does anybody have anything they want to add? They want to ask a question about anything at all before I begin? Okay, so there are a couple things with today. I'm going to speak about what's the best way to buy things for your family that will help the environment small and the environment worldwide. So of course, I love this graphic. Mary liked it too. So one of the things that, hi Wally. So one of the things that we're talking about is two things, three things, local, healthy, and no waste. But you want to be ecologically responsible and fair and accessible. So of course, I just want you to take a look. I kept it up because, you know, it's a lot to read. And I think what we're going to do, if we can, maybe Mary, make a note. I'd like to print this for people and put it up on the blog. We have a blog. You just go to the library blog. You go to sustainability. This will be up. So what you want to aim for is things that are low waste, low greenhouse gas emissions. Emissions. You want to look for certified organic foods, foods that are without chemical spray. I know I'm talking about a substantial expense. I also want you to consider shopping local. The next best thing to organic and low spray is local, if you can't get all those things. When you do local food, farmers markets. We have one in Tuckahoe every Sunday. Would anybody like to add any others, including upstate?
Jackie, there's one in Bronxville every Saturday also.
Oh, wow. 2 days in a row. That's nice.
Yeah.
I know by me, Sunday, Warwick has theirs. Tuesday, Florida, New York has theirs.
Nice.
Wednesday, Monroe has theirs. And Friday, Goshen has theirs.
She's so thorough. That's my best friend from second grade. I don't. So Joan had a lot to help me with this particular Zoom, because Joan follows a lot of food, clean food Facebook groups and online. And a lot of this idea of clean food is not just organic, it is what is good for you. Things that are high in fiber, fast to make, less processed. Does anybody know what I mean by least processing? What is the less processed kinds of foods? Things that are not ready-made in bags, things that you can make at home. So what is the best appliance to save time? To save time and make it easy to cook so you're not standing over a stove? Anybody? Put in a chocolate bar.
The slow cooker?
A slow cooker, bing, 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 you win the chocolate bar.
Okay.
So, good. So, yes. And all of these things on this page can benefit from using a slow cooker, but we will come back to that. I'll circle back to that. You also want to think about things that have no packaging, which brings me to, can everybody see me on this thing? You see this? Does everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mom.
This is the stupidest thing known to mankind.
Little clamshells.
This is the second stupidest thing known to mankind. This, has anybody seen other ready packaged veggies?
Oh yeah, I like how they pre-cut the watermelon and sell it to you in a plastic cup. Just buy the freaking watermelon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ping, right out of the park. Also, my favorite one is that when they package up things that already have their own natural packaging, like avocados, oranges, anything else.
Oh, all of it. Apple slices.
Apple slices, all stuff that you can bring home. So at the bottom, if you look at this thing where it says no waste, aim for no packages, aim for no food waste, packaging that you will reuse, packaging for food scraps that you will compost or recycle.
I think the fact that, Jackie, isn't that a really great way to make your food supply less safe? All of that processing and cutting into and ruining the natural seal of things. And then if your processors aren't clean, then they've ruined your food and you don't even know it because you've introduced bacteria into your melons or so.
Well, the other thing is you make them go bad faster because they're not getting air. That's the other thing. I will say though that spinach doesn't do well in an open market unless they put it someplace that's, where they have, where it's kept cold. I notice a lot of the farmers markets, some of the ones that I go to, the spinach is a little wilty. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one because we're going to run out of time. So why am I talking about eating and vegetarian and veganism? Because sometimes that's a hot button topic. So this is the continuum here. An omnivore, and this is 65% of the United States consumers eat a wide variety of foods. That's good. I would like to say that a lot of that is meat. So you have this new designation, I just learned about this, a flexitarian. So there's two designations of flexitarian: somewhat vegetarian, eating less meat, less dairy, less pork, but still eating those things. And mostly vegetarian. I eat mostly vegetarian, but occasionally eat meat, dairy, pork. Vegetarian, I don't eat meat, pork, chicken, etc. And a vegan, I don't eat any animal products. The only thing that I have a hard time with veganism, I am mostly a vegetarian. The last time I ate chicken cutlets was about 3 weeks ago. Is it easy? Not simple, but it's easier than trying to cook meat to perfection. And I have a lot of good substitutes. I am the worst possible person to make it easy to go into vegan and vegetarianism, and the best person. I have celiac disease. That's not just your average gluten intolerance. I actually have, it is a legit food allergy that is on the biomolecular level, genetic level. It's not just oh, I want to stay away from gluten because I think it's bad for me. Gluten is not bad for everybody. It just isn't. There's two designations: celiac disease and gluten intolerance, which is a real thing. So it's good going into a vegan diet, vegetarian diet. Vegan's easier because with celiac disease, I'm also lactose intolerant. Show of hands, how many of you are lactose intolerant? So vegan is a really good option for you. The other thing is, I was listening to a vegan on Instagram, and he was saying, I don't expect everybody to go vegetarian and vegan. I did because I had many different reasons. One of them being a lover of animals, and that's part of mine. I watch a lot of these cow things, and I'm sparing everybody from the ways cows are butchered because some of it is gruesome, but I'm going to avoid going into that with all of you. That is what turned my stomach. Also pork, I'm not, and I'm Italian, so giving up like prosciutto is hard. I will occasionally buy some prosciutto for my son, who is a meatitarian down to his core. And even he has tried some of the substitutes and thought they were awesome. So I guess the idea is, why don't we all try to back up from eating so much red meat, specifically red meat and pork? Try to back up from it. Just lessen your amount, and that will change things. Now, how will it change things for the environment? Well, let's go back to the greenhouse effect. I love this book thing. I'll show it when I'm off of this, but cows contribute to the greenhouse effect. Excuse me for my greenhouse gas. Cows and methane, okay? More than just CO2, methane is a fierce greenhouse gas. It traps CO2 in the atmosphere, not just from gas from one way, but also burping. Cows burp a lot. And I remember in the early 90s, it was probably 1990, there was a scientific study that was given millions of dollars to study burping cows. And at the time, it was highly politicized because it was seen as a silly expenditure. Like, what is with burping cows? I can find the article for anyone if you want to see it. But it ended up fueling our understanding of some of the ways that agriculture contributes to greenhouse gases. I've been harping on the gas and oil industry, but this is an interesting way of understanding how much methane emissions per gram of protein each of these animals give out. And much of the meat that's out there gets wasted. During COVID, they rounded up a bunch of cows and slaughtered them all, which brings me to hunger spikes in the United States. and how we have to start thinking in a smarter way to distribute good quality food without losing a heck of a lot of money, because I believe that meat could have been distributed to people who have food insecurity. And some of the states that have the highest rates of food insecurity, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, parts of Florida, Georgia, hold on, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and parts of Virginia. Okay, and that's all on our side. The other states, I think part of it is because their population is low and they have a lot of land. So does anybody have any questions about that? I'm gonna move on. Okay, so game changers. Does anybody know what they're looking at in these pictures?
Well, the lower right, I think, is bamboo.
Yep,
Peanuts?
yep.
Green.
Oat, that's oats. I didn't know oats looked like that. Oatmeal, peanuts, and bamboo will be the game changers in changing how we eat, how we package things, how we package foods. Now, today I was going to speak about, packaging and where we place things. Here is the recipe for the slow cooker warm apple pie oatmeal. Now on the bottom, it's the Clean Food Crush online, and I have the directions. How many would you like, or how many of you would like me to copy this and put it in the free bags that I will eventually get out to all of you? I will also put this up on the blog, but I can copy this recipe. Yes?
Yes, sounds good.
Terrific. Okay.
I have it.
Yes, I know you. I stole this from you. Oh my God. How do I escape? Okay. Can I stop sharing? Yes, I can stop. Hi, everybody. All right. So let me back up, drop the camera. How much time do we have? Oh, it's 1:22. That's not bad. So I was also going to talk about, since we got to recipes first before anything else, let's talk about substitution and proteins you can make with peanut butter, rolled oats, gluten-free as well, and local hive honey. See, I brought it around to local shopping. This is good for several reasons. It supports the bee industry. It supports, it's taken from the Northeast, which means any of you have any allergies to plants out there, to certain flowers, they say that eating the local honey helps to mitigate your allergies. So with these three things, you mix them together. I will also post this recipe. And you cook, this is no bake granola. You bake the peanut butter, you throw in the rolled oats with some honey, you spread it out on a pan, and you throw it into the refrigerator. When it cools, you just pull it out and you cut it up, and there you have your granola bars. This way, you're not packaging you're not buying packaged granola bars. You could make a double batch of them, and you're not taking little packages and ripping them open and bringing them to work. Also, there's no processing. And if you get organic, that's not particularly organic peanut butter, and it's honey peanut butter. But you can grind them at Whole Foods. Oh, hi, Joan, I see you. Okay, let me move on. So let's talk about avoiding butter. You don't always have to avoid butter, but for those of you who are a little lactose intolerant, and no one's paying me to say this Mykonos and this butter, guess where I bought them? ShopRite, easy to find, okay? These butters are good. I actually spread this one on toast, and I could not tell the difference. And you could turn around and say to me, wow, coconut butter, coconut oil, that's high in trans fat, saturated fat, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, if you're not eating red meat and you're not throwing cheese on everything, a little bit and you're okay. All right. What's the next thing? So for those of you who are concerned with going to a vegetarian and vegan diet, if you don't want to be vegan, I use eggs. And I rely on eggs quite a bit. I eat them every morning. So does Sebdi. These eggs are packaged in this rather than buying the plastic ones, which I don't think are good, but you can, the ones that are packaged in plastic, you can recycle. It's best to just get the paper ones, free range. If you can afford the organic, get the organic. I boil a bunch of these. And I have a recipe, yes.
Never mind. Are you going to tell them the recipe for the egg?
Which one?
The
Some of
flax
us could
egg.
use it.
Which one?
The flax egg. If you don't want to use an egg.
Oh, I thought, yes, give me 1 second, because you're gonna tell them about using a flax egg. The recipe for boiled eggs, I finally tried the ones where they are they're not vinegar. What do you call that when you marinate a hard-boiled egg? Those are delicious. It's with soy sauce, rice vinegar, chives, a little bit of water, a little bit of sugar. If you don't want to use sugar, you can use mirin, and you let them soak for a few hours overnight. Flax egg, take it away, Joan. Her name's not Abigail, it's Joan. She's using Abigail's phone.
I know that's, but if you get flaxseed, just like this, all you need, I think it's a tablespoon. Yep, tablespoon of flax and 3 tablespoons of water. Mix it, that's your egg. It's the same protein, if not better, and then you're not dealing with the eggs if you don't want to. So even if you're just in a pinch for cooking and you run out of eggs, just use your flax egg. No one knows. I've done it for the kids and the husband and they've got no clue.
Now, why did I want you to speak about this? Because our fearless branch manager has an egg allergy.
Ah, there you go. So the other thing you do, you mix the 1 tablespoon with the 3 tablespoons of water, let it sit for like 5 minutes while you're getting your other ingredients ready. Then just to give it time to like coagulate and then dump it into the recipe.
Right. Yeah, it gets really weirdly gooey.
Yeah.
It looks like the
It
same.
looks like an egg.
Yeah, it looks
It's like a brown egg.
It does. It does. Phil, see, if you're gonna make some cake, you can try this out and make egg-free something baked good for Z.
It's handy for baking.
It is.
To take the egg out of the recipe, you know.
Yeah. So anybody have any other questions about substituting protein in your diet? Oh my God, beans. Beans. I've been making a lot of bean recipes, and I would suggest, rather than buying the plastic packaging, part of what I'm including in the free friends gift to everybody is little produce bags. They're made out of cotton, muslin, whatever, and you can go to Whole Foods and go to they have what do you call that? Those containers there in the bean section. Ridge Hill, it's like in their center area when you go towards the back, and you just go into the containers and you put the beans in your own little bag. That's the most sustainable way of making replacements instead of buying this, having to throw out, because this is not recyclable. But why do I have it? Just in a pinch, okay? Do the best you can. I recommend, if you're going to work with dry beans, they're not as scary as they seem, but they require a tremendous amount of cooking. But if you're leaving, you can put them on the slow cooker just to soften them. And why am I suggesting rather than just cook them straight up? I think it's better you soak them overnight. Black beans, those chickpeas, okay? This is for a real pinch. These are already cooked. Why are these good? And what could you do with this? Aluminum is easily recyclable. So this packaging is not as heinous as plastic. And well, what do you do with chickpeas? What's that gonna do? So my meat-loving son, I tried this thing called fake tuna salad. And I took this, you mash it, you mash them. That is just too much work for me. So I put it through a food processor. But you can mash them and add chopped up pickles with chives, onions, garlic, salt, pepper, chili powder. It's just everything can go into this recipe. And then you can add mayonnaise, stir it around if you want to get that sort of tuna-like consistency. You don't mash it to where it's hummus. And you can use vegan mayonnaise, which a lot of vegans will do, or you can use regular mayonnaise. Vegan mayonnaise, again, is very good for people who have an egg allergy. And in the case of, you can also add an avocado to the whole mix. And there you have your fake tuna salad. It's actually delicious. My son is the pickiest guy ever, and he loved it, thought it was the greatest thing. And so what's next? So let's talk about storage. Oh, before I move on to the storage thing, does anybody have any questions that you want to ask? Any ideas? Things that you do?
I would just like to say my godson is not picky, that's all.
So here in the bottle, why am I holding? Yes, he is. This bottle came from Italian soda, you know, the lemonade soda.
Oh.
I had about 6 of them. My daughter one night decided that they would go and look up, I want lemonade. And I hate buying lemonade commercially, and I don't like the mix. Looked up a recipe, used all these lemons, came up with their own simple syrup, which was not difficult, and bottled their own. Maria bottled their own lemonade. Now, why is that interesting? Because I took the leftover lemons and started the citrus cleaner that we know from the first thing. So it got reused. The idea behind what I'm talking about today is whatever foods you're using have second and third uses. And when they have lived out their usefulness, I have another citrus cleaner that's waiting to be changed out. I throw it in a compost pile. Lemons you can put, it doesn't do anything to the dirt. It gets all the vinegar and everything gets washed away. Yes.
Check out the chef dude on Tastemade, the channel Tastemade, which is TASTEMADE. And he does recipes using every single part of the vegetable. So he actually made a pesto out of like the carrot tops and the beet tops, and nothing got thrown away.
Right.
Before it went to the compost pile.
Yeah. Right. Perfect. Perfect. That's one example. The next one is for those of you who are on Instagram, and I would highly recommend that if you don't look up Instagram, that you look up these people. Well, one of them is on Instagram. And Mary, if you don't mind putting it in the chat, she's coming out with a book. She's having a book day. The name of the book is The Korean Vegan. And this woman has taken traditional Korean dishes and made them vegan, and they're delicious. I actually tried something with kimchi in it. To me, as much as a year ago, if you would have said, do you want to try kimchi? I would have been like, bleh. No, it's actually delicious. And I watched her put all these different pieces of some fried eggplant, some egg substitute, a spoonful of rice, sliced up avocado, kimchi, and then this hot sauce. God, I forgot the name of it. Okay, but puts on and then folds over this wrap. Right now, I made it gluten-free, fried it, and then sliced it up and handed that out. I thought, I don't know how this is gonna taste. It was delicious. And let me tell you something about kimchi, if you don't mind my going to that. Kimchi is one of those fermented foods, okay? And one of the things they say about fermented foods is that they what do you call that when it goes into your gut and it makes good bacteria? Like it not inoculates.
But it helps your flora.
Helps your flora. It builds up the good bacteria in your stomach. And that is one of the problems that we have with our stomachs. We do not have enough of the good bacteria to help fight little things. For me, the kimchi solved acid reflux for me. When I get too much acid reflux, I eat that with something, and it's a game changer. I have acid reflux, which complicates everything for me. So my whole thing, and I must sound like a nut or one of these crunchy granola people, but I have these problems. I went to a Western medicine doctor. I didn't go to, Eastern medicine. And yet it was Eastern medicine and that idea of clean eating and eating to help your gut that enormously changed things for me. And I can't convince anybody enough unless you'd have to try it to see this. Because even with getting rid of commercial cleaners changed my allergies. But anyway, this woman, the Korean vegan, she cooks in this way. Bringing me to the Japanese vegan woman who, her name is Okonomi Okonomi Kitchen. Her name is Lisa Kithara. She is only on Instagram. She doesn't have a book out, although this woman should write a book. I've encouraged her. She found a substitute for fish. And she did substitute tuna, right? And all it took was soy sauce. I used a tamari because it's gluten-free. Rice vinegar, mirin, which is a sweet rice syrup vinegar, scallions. You're supposed to put in dashi flakes. I don't have them. And I put in fish flakes. And I let it sit in there. What you do with the tomato is and it has to be aroma tomato, you put it in boiling water for 40 seconds, take it out, put some cuts in it, skin it, quarter it, scoop out the seeds, and then soak it in your marinade for 30 minutes. And you have white rice. And then when it's done, you drape it over. It doesn't taste like tomato anymore. It kind of has a fish flavor. So if you like raw fish, or you like that taste without the raw fish, or if you like, I like tomatoes, so I'd like to have something that's refreshing, it's a great substitute. And she's done this before. Did you get, oh, thank you, Mary. Mary put Okonomi Kitchen in the chat. She's amazing. She is more than amazing because she makes these traditional Japanese dishes, but turns them vegan. One of the things I watched her do was to take watermelon, okay? She turned watermelon into a steak, and I thought, oh, gross. I haven't tried it yet, but she did it by marinating it, frying it, and then breading it, and then frying it again, deep frying it. And when she sliced into it, oh my God, that looked either like a salmon steak or a steak. it no longer looked like a watermelon. So that's next on my list.
I think she was on the Today Show.
Okonimo or Korean vegan?
I don't know. One of them, I could swear one of them was just on a couple weeks ago.
I think it's Korean vegan because she has a book party coming up. I'd like to buy that for the library. I'm going to push some of her stuff. It's really good. Very interesting stuff. She has a book party in New York, October 14th. And it's just, and she was a lawyer and she's a marathon runner and just one of those amazing people who, I know she's still a lawyer, but she mostly does her Instagram, I guess you would call it shows, demonstrations or whatever. And she gathers all these tastes to produce this stuff. She has a lot of noodle dishes, but the other woman does a lot of breads, like breads. She does a lot of Japanese street foods that you would see, like if you were Japanese, you'd say, oh my God, I had that. And her boyfriend will taste it. And you can tell he has levels of loving and liking her stuff. If he likes a thing, he goes, oh, that's good. That's good. Or he'll eat one thing and go, oh my God, that's so good. And it's really cute to watch that, to watch them together. It's really funny because the idea is we don't have to stick with the things we constantly buy in the store. With just a little bit of effort, it doesn't have to be much. The thing with the peanut butter and oats is the easiest thing. What's another breakfast thing other than the slow cooker? Joan, for the big prize. Mary knows what it is.
Oh, you're actually asking me, or you're asking me for a suggestion?
No, what's the thing that it's new, it's trendy, and they sell it in cups, ready to go.
Oh, the oatmeal?
It's old, yes.
Oh, I got my box. I tried it.
You did?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, okay. So what we're talking about is overnight oats. Mary's been making it. She just shocked the crud out of me.
No, I don't make overnight oats. I make batches of steel cut oats and then I keep some in the freezer and some in the fridge. I've tried overnight oats, but I don't like the texture. I like steel cut oats better.
Right.
Steel cut oats you should put in the crock pot.
Oh, I just do them on the stove. It doesn't really take that long. I just do them on the stove. I make a big batch and then I split the batch in half. I freeze half and then I just nuke it a little bit in the morning. If you put some overnight oats in your little bowl with some raw blueberries and you nuke it for like a minute, it tastes like blueberry pie and you don't even need any sugar or anything. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Well, there's doing the one in the crock pot. Joan always makes this sound so homey and delicious. So you have the crock pot, you put it on at night, steel cut oats, and you put in all your ingredients. And then in the morning, when the family's getting together, sitting around the table on a Sunday morning, ooh, yum, 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 and you dole it out, but you're sleeping with that smell. Right? Going through the house.
It's great in the winter when you have to get the kids up for school because then that's breakfast is ready and the house smells good. And sometimes I just make it plain with nothing. And then I just put everything out on the counter and then they can make whatever flavor they want. They just add it to the plain oatmeal.
Can you all see how like I stole all the way I do things from that person? Swear to God, Joan is behind all of this. I'm not, right? Tell them I'm not that crafty.
No, you are.
Crafty. Anyway, yes, but see, it was also being partly, exposed to Joan's mother, who had all these practical, fast ways of doing a thing without having to get rid of too much garbage, right? My family, we would have all these gigantic bags of garbage, oh my God, and throwing out tons of plastic. All you have to do, if you like hard-boiled eggs, all you have to do is make up 12, put it in that marinade, take it out in the morning, stuff it in a container, and it's grab and go. You don't have to go to Starbucks and buy their, that's only if you're desperate. That should only be desperation, right? So the idea is you want to make it easier on yourself in the morning, because all this cooking, the cooking I do, you have to have time to do this cooking, okay? And with a 9-to-5 job or anything else that you do, you have to start getting practical. I'm not always practical with my time. So I'm just like, today we're going to cook 16 meals and they're all going to be complicated. And I'm going to have dishes up to the ceiling. And then by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. Oh my God. You don't have to do that. You can do these quick things. And marinades, I find that the Asian seasonings, and I don't mean the dry ones, because I have to be careful about certain dried seasonings. They have to be certified gluten-free. I've recently had some not so great experiences because I ate something with soy sauce, which is milk. It's what do you call that? Made with wheat. It is fermented with wheat. So I have to get a different kind of soy sauce. But if you have everything ready to go, and you're making these things on a Sunday or whenever, or even if you make small batches during the week, it's quick, ready to go. I put the overnight oats. Now I like overnight oats because they're cool on a summer morning instead of hot oatmeal. And you could put anything in it. I had one recipe. Joan had a chocolate chip cookie dough tasting kind of oatmeal where you put in butter, or you could put in the vegan butter. You have these substitutes, and you can, I'm sorry, I have to answer this. Okay. So you can put in vanilla, brown sugar, or no sugar. You don't have to do it that way, but I like brown sugar, a pinch of cinnamon. And you can have these tastes that taste like, or an apple pie or a chocolate chip. You put chocolate chips in it, and you can do it hot as well. Yeah, I mean, that's what's good about it. You could also put in the fruit, and like Mary said, no sugar. And this works in several different ways. They are also now selling ready-made mixes. Okay, so that's plastic that has to get thrown out, but their packaging is recyclable. And you can use these to make your life even easier. You do it. Is it right in the bag, Joan?
The oats overnight?
Yeah.
So yeah, it comes like this. Can you see that? Oats overnight, these little individual packets. I got this kind of to check out things for my daughter, long story. So yeah, you dump this, like it's 8 ounces of any kind of milk you want. So the ironic thing is my daughter and I use oat milk because regular milk bothers her. So it's just 8 ounces of that. And then you dump this in, shake it in their little cup that they even send you, and it goes in the refrigerator. I had one in the morning to try for breakfast, but then I made one for her to take with her because she was going to miss dinner, because I needed her to have protein, nutrients, and it's hard sometimes messy food. Like you can't send a smorgasbord meal with my kid to all of her different places. So it's easy for her to grab water bottles and one of these.
Right.
It is
right.
mighty handy. But the
Right.
thing I also noticed too, with a lot of the plastic things that you were talking about, how some things are not recyclable. We have a place by us. We have 2 supermarkets, and the one supermarket actually collects all the non-recyclable plastic. So your produce bags, the stuff that your mushrooms come in, like all that funky stuff, they collect all of those, and it goes to one company that they deal with. And that supermarket handles it, and they're the ones that make the park benches.
Right. TerraCycle is that company I spoke about. And among the many things I have to do, and I'm going to try to get friends involved in this, they are now doing a fundraiser kind of box where you can throw something specific. They send you the box and you send them back. You fill up the box and they give you the money for it. Same thing with Got Sneakers. You can make a collection for old sneakers, right? And throw it in the box, and Got Sneakers sends you the money back. Really good fundraisers and a good way to, get rid of your old stuff. So there was one more thing, packaging. Speaking of packaging. So we have these leak-proof storage bags. Guess where I bought these?
Grove,
Oh, I
No?
didn't.
the Container Store.
No, the reason why I said what I did was I went to, there's a local store. So a bunch of us that are on shop locally. So I'm trying to get them to shop locally. In Eastchester, there's a Value Drugs. I asked the manager, hey, I do this sustainability thing that the Friends of Crestwood Library supports. Could you get more sustainably good packaging, blah, blah. And he did. Also, True
Yes, that's-
Value.
You can cook in them.
Can you?
Mhm. Yeah, you can.
Food safe material, yeah, and
If
this.
you go on their website, they have recipes, but I also sent you one for ramen because I know how much your kids like ramen. And
Yeah.
there was also a quickie popcorn recipe.
Yes.
I was very intrigued.
Which I haven't gotten to yet. I'm probably not going to get to this because there is another place and I saved it on my Instagram. Pardon me for going to my Instagram, but I have to go to my saved places. Yeah, this is going to be great. Now to go to saved places. Wait, here we go. Archives. I guess it's archives. No, saved. There we go. So there's this one thing. This guy was so funny. I was dying. Okay, zip top containers. Have you ever stored food? He does this whole thing about storing food. You go, isn't that great? He's like, have you ever used plastic bags to store food? Yes, if you hate the earth. And the nice thing about these things is he's talking about if you to avoid using the Tupperware plastic things with the tops. He's got these zip top containers that have almost flat bottoms so that you can store anything in it, because he does this whole comedy routine about, oh, you could search forever looking for the top. Oh, I guess you're going to die alone, when you can't, because I constantly lose the tops to my plastic things. So I thought that was clever, having those. So what else? And did those containers, the thing I want to say is with that thing, these canning jars, I put the overnight oats in the small canning jar and stick it in the refrigerator, because that's a good way to get that going. Okay. I was going to go into something else. Oh, yeah, let me just, as a little reminder, because we were talking about the burping cows, with all the trees that are being taken down between the cows and the lack of trees, just the agricultural and wood companies have contributed significantly to climate change. I mean, I know I like to blame gas and oil because they are Satan collectively. Unfortunately, agriculture has done quite the job, and we don't need that much meat. We really don't. You think you do, but you don't. You worry about iron. I know at my age, I don't have to worry about it as much as I did, although celiac disease kind of keeps you slightly anemic most days. Lentils, all the beans I talked about, and spinach, great substitutes for that iron. If any of you wonder, well, Jackie, you've been on a mostly vegetarian diet. How do you feel? I'm a little hungry. Is it a bit of adjustment? It's a little bit of an adjustment. But I'm also not eating bread. So for those of you people who eat bread, it's a good filler. But if you going paleo would be difficult unless you use the beans. That's what I wanted to tell you, the last thing. So commercially, if you don't have time to make your own things, they have this great substitute for chicken nuggets. It's called Chick with an N. We found it in ShopRite, and Maria wanted them. And there wasn't a lot of packaging to it. And Maria popped it into the toaster oven, said to me, oh my God, there's no difference. I cannot tell. Look at the texture. So those chicken nuggets were pretty good and filling. There is a thing called seitan or seitan, S-E-I-T-A-N, that a lot of these vegan and vegetarian companies are using. But it's made out of wheat flour, wheat gluten. But it's amazing because when you stretch it and pull it and press it and get it to a certain texture, and then you marinate it, it's a good meat substitute. They use it as crumbles and things like that. So now that I'm at the end, would anybody else like to say anything?
Jackie, I have a question
Sure.
to the floor, if anyone has come across this yet. You know, in the effort to get rid of plastic, everyone throws their garbage out, generally speaking, with plastic bags, you know, the big kitchen ones that you get. Does anyone know? I mean, because the other thing is, you know, like we're getting more of the paper bags now from the supermarkets and stuff. And I'm just wondering, can you use them for garbage bags, or does Yonkers or anywhere else have any objection to that? Because I mean, it's easier for the sanitation guys to just grab the plastic,
Right.
you know, and that sort of thing, and the size of it, they're convenient.
They're not going to have an objection to that. They don't. You can throw things out in a paper bag. It's just the way you arrange it. You know how I have that book, Living Well, Simply Living Well.
Right.
That's where I've gotten all of my. She had a do-it-yourself for making your own garbage liner, but it was for something small. You take a newspaper, and she had this great foldy way of doing it and putting it in a short garbage can.
Right.
You can do that and put it in your can. I don't know. I haven't tried that. I have to be honest with you. I haven't tried it.
Okay, but no one knows of any prohibition against it.
There
in
is
this
no
way?
prohibition as long, this is what I would say to this. Do not put food into, none of us should be putting food into the garbage anyway. If you've got a backyard, if you've got dirt, or if you know of a wooded area, throw it in the wooded area. It's not gonna hurt anything. It isn't. Watermelon rinds, seeds, old oatmeal, pasta, all of that. Throw it in the wooded area as far as you can. And don't tell anybody I told you. Or throw it in your backyard. I have a composter in my backyard. It stinks to high heaven, but I cover it with grass and leaves, and then it doesn't stink anymore. That's what I would do. And so when you throw out your garbage, it's dry. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's dry. So you're not throwing anything out that is gonna leak through. That's what ticks them off. They're not gonna wanna pick up something that's gonna go and mess them up. So that's the big objection. I've also seen biodegradable bags. They're amazing. The problem is if you don't use them right away, they biodegrade in your cupboard, which I've had happen. And then I just throw them
Where
out.
do you see them, Jackie?
Grove, True Value, and online.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The other thing is you could always go to leaf bags and throw stuff out in leaf bags, roll it up and put it in the garbage. I considered that.
Well,
But
these
yeah,
bags are a little bit bigger too.
Right,
Yeah, rather large.
right, they're large. So, and you can fit more stuff in. But then again, if you separate out your stuff wisely, you know, you'll have very little garbage.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.